Okay, I hope I'm not talking about you. You talk. You talk for a bit. You lead with whatever nutty ideas you got.
I don't know. I got nothing to say. I mean,
okay, so let me carry on then. I gave you the opportunity. That's right. And this is the Triesto phenomenon. Triesto gets up there. There's a huge people listening, and he remains king of the environment there in the theater, in the auditorium, or what's bigger? Stadium. In the stadium, he's the center, maintains the center, never leaves it, and you either like it or not. That's what the Web 2.0 brought in. It allowed everybody to have their own sovereignty and never have to give in because of the chip body. Nobody can see or feel or touch it, and you just declare your boundaries through the older media, through print, through typing. Use the older media to declare your impervious sovereignty, which is interesting. Ion, impermeable sovereignty. It's interesting that Ion updates the New Age content. This is a subtext part of Ion. Ion does many things, but one thing he says, you are the creator of your own universe, blah, blah, blah. What Ion says, if it is any different, some people say, well, New Age people said that for 30 years, but to the degree he reinforces it, you could say that the Web 2.0 created a new kind of content for channeling. So what Ion channeled is resonant with the effect that Triesto also reflects. I mean, you've never been able to communicate with someone else and tell them to go fuck themselves, and they can hit back at you. That's the beginning of the chip body. You can't say what you are, where you are, but you're able to think and express and echo it back through older media. All the time missing the actual effect of the new media, which is the sovereign state, which collapsed everything. The Android me. Now we come back to what we started with. See, there's an orderliness of a pattern unfolding in every one of our shows.
Well, yeah, I do that.
You do that. I mean, okay.
I bring it out. I bring it out.
Yeah, you know the literature. You evoke it. You know, you're what is it? The blankness, the void, the blank canvas you offer, which is, this is what McLuhan used to say was, the TV age brought in the Johnny Carsons, the Mike Douglas, and those kind of people. McLuhan said in the movie era, before World War II, you had to be pretty special to be a good actor or have star quality. You had to be unique in some way. You had a high-definition personality that came through. But all of a sudden, just 20 years later, you got nobodies, bland nobodies, becoming the big stars. And in a strange, different kind of stardom, but Johnny Carson's the bland nobody. It's the bland face. And McLuhan said because television was low definition, because of the blurry pixels, the audience had to be able to project their own content in there. You couldn't have a high-definition, stark, Orson Welles kind of person in the TV age, whereas you required that kind of high-definition, imposing personality, big ego, in the 30s for the high-definition medium of movies. You follow what I'm saying? And so you're very low definition. You're very low definition. Yeah, and that allows Bob, who's a fucking megalomaniac, plus many other things. He's quadrupedal. So I'm a megalomaniac. I'm a nice guy. I can be bland myself. I prove that when I go on Evan's show with Ion, and I don't say a word for the 2 hours, except for the zinger at the end. But but that's just quadrophenia. I got to become something different during the 2 hours. And so you're a blank slate that allows me to run around in, and that makes for good radio. And that's why, you know, can you imagine me on with Charlie Rose or Wolf Blitzer? You know, high definition jerks, right? Trying to be high definition. They don't really have a point of view, but they have to be constant.
They'd be on your ass, though.
They'd be on my ass.
What do you mean by that, Bob? When you say I'm a megalomaniac, what did you mean by that, Bob?
Yeah. And
aren't you saying, oh, yeah.
And you know what they do? They also have a great sensibility on this. Bob, you're talking down to your audience. Aren't you aware of it? You know, people don't know what you're talking about. They get all worried about that.
That's true. They do get worried about that.
Yeah, because they're speaking to the obsolete analog media mind. They think a consumer mind. Most people aren't like that anymore. Even Archie Bunker was the beginning of the internet sensibility, the way he asserted his sovereignty about all the bullshit that was going on in the media, right? And it was considered old. This is a good pattern. We just discovered it. Archie Bunker was considered an old-fashioned guy, out of date, and the liberals thought he was a joke, and that he was nowhere relevant to the 70s and what was unfolding in the global theater. Well, it turns out that the internet was going to make everybody into an Archie Bunker. See, that's never been said before, Kurt. It's a good example of people. The liberal humanists who didn't like him, thought he was a racist and all that, they thought a literate utopia, even the early web guys, information wants to be free. You know, everybody would have access to all this fucking information. Well, they didn't know they were creating a post-information society where everybody would pretend they didn't have any information and celebrate the fact they were stupid and be rude about it. You know, and that's Archie Bunker. So all the changes that came out of the 60s and early 70s that Archie Bunker was seen as an old-fashioned jerk in relation to, those changes never happened because the media changed society so much that, you know, surprise, surprise, you got disco in the late 70s, you got punk, you got AIDS, you got Panama Canals giving up, what other crazy, Reagan, you know, all this crap that had nothing to do with ideas. See, the problem with the 60s, people had ideas and wanted these ideas implemented. But you and I have lived by default. Everything just falls in our lap without us even desiring it.
I like it that way.